Okay, it's Monday the 15th of Jan. I'm in the Wye Valley. So today is the day when the leisure battery has been the lowest ever. So I have been a bit worried about being able to have enough electricity for the heating and for recharging power packs, and just getting rid of an alarm and laptop and phone and all that business. So so it's down it's down to about, oof, that's lovely and warm, blowing up my blanket, so to speak. Yeah, the trouble is, yesterday where I parked near Tinton Quarry, it was a nice spot to park, but it was completely shadowed by trees, so I was basically in the woods. So yesterday I hardly got any charge into the battery. That was definitely a mistake. I can't be doing that again. But I did find just up the road a really lovely cafe that was actually really nice to be in there, and so I went in the cafe for a sort of chunk of the day. When did I leave? I think I got there about 9. I left at 2, so that's 5 hours. And then I did a little bit of a drive around. Afterwards I drove up to St. Briavels, I think it is, to a proper village store, a village shop called The Pantry. And I'm actually almost back where I parked near Tinton Quarry, but I'm just in the sort of the mouth of that road, so I am out in the open. And to be honest, where I stayed last night, I was a bit on edge, because it was properly secluded, pitch black. I mean, it's absolutely fine, it was lovely and quiet, but it is very different to be out in these wild places completely on my own. So I do feel happier where I am here, ultimately. And when I checked the battery monitor, the battery had charged a bit, up to about 68%, I think it was. So the things I'm learning now, so I parked the motorhome facing north, which meant the solar panels on the roof were facing south. So, you know, normally that's good advice. Like, you would line up a house to be, your south facing would be warm, north facing would be cold. But we're in winter, so the sun is just sort of glancing at our part of the world. What I should have done was parked, where would I park? I would park north west, so that the solar panels were facing south east, and I would have got more sun. So yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm juggling. And then I'm sort of juggling, if I'm in the situation where I need to recharge the battery more quickly than is going to be possible with the sun, do I go to a campsite, or do I do what I did today? I basically go and pay for food and drinks. Probably what I should have done was, because the thing is, I've got good food and drink in the motorhome. Probably what I should have done was found a cheap campsite with electric hookup, because I've paid Dan to install a super fast charger for when I'm plugged in to the electric. That is what I should have done, because in the end I don't have 100% battery, so I'm sort of still a bit dodgy. Like, at the moment, the issue is, if I'm in the motorhome, I need some heating, so I've actually just put the heating on, but I'm only going to put it on for 10 minutes just to take the edge off, because it's 8 degrees C in here at the moment, and I've been in the motorhome for a good couple of hours. I've just actually had a shower outside with the Lifesaver jerry can. I'm definitely glad for well over a year I've been sort of practicing cold water swimming, because it has prepared me for this moment. I think a lot of people will be freezing their tits off, but it is, don't get me wrong, it is cold, but I'm okay. I'm okay. So this actually, now I don't often like things being bought for me. I'll normally say no to them, but my mum has nailed a few Christmas presents this year. So the first one were these slippers, which come up a bit higher in the heel, brilliant. And the second one is this blanket thing. You actually get into this blanket, but the back it doesn't have a back. I don't know if you can see that, but there's basically no back. So it means when you sit down, obviously your back is completely covered up with the cushions, and it's the front that is nice and warm, and then this actually packs up and zips up into a cushion. Brilliant. I've then also got my fingerless gloves. I've got this what is it, a buffwear hat type thing. Do you know what, I'm actually pretty warm. And then my setup just to the left here is the winter sleeping bag with the blanket. Once I get in that, I'll put this on top as well, and this sort of material really does hold the heat, but it doesn't make you sweat, it doesn't make you feel sweaty, it just feels like it's a really good barrier for heat. So today is sort of the first day learning about being in winter, actually when there's a greater demand on the leisure battery because of heating. The trouble is, I did that 6 hours of work on Saturday with the heating on all day. I've actually got a bit lazy. And I haven't actually noticed the cold. And again, don't get me wrong, it is cold in here, but in the daytime I will put the heater on, and I feel a bit annoyed with myself. I've got a bit lazy just by chucking the heater on. I need to get used to it being colder in the daytime. I've bought these things like the gloves. My mum's bought this thing like the blanket. I've got really super comfy warm slippers now. My fingerless gloves so I can work whilst staying warm. I have historically had a bit of a problem with circulation. Like my hands will go like orange and purple patches because of circulation, and definitely the cold water swimming has really helped to improve that. But it's really important that I wrap up my hands and my feet really, really well. So I have got all that. So I think I'm gonna turn off the heat in a minute. Actually, I'm gonna do it now because it's been about, so the heating's recording 14 degrees C, but the trouble is the thermostat is on the wardrobe, and the wardrobe is above the pipes, so the inside of the wardrobe gets nice and toasty, much hotter than the actual motorhome itself. So I've got another thermostat and a hygrometer over there, so for the like humidity. So that's registering 11 degrees C, whereas the thermostat is at 14. So the thermometer over there is the correct one. So it's about 11 degrees C in here. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And the odd thing is as well, in here, like if I was in the house that I had and it was 11 degrees C, I'd be cold. I absolutely would feel the cold. Whereas in the motorhome at 11 degrees C, it's okay. I don't understand that. Because if it's 11 degrees C, it's 11 degrees C. I don't know if it's because in the house there's a greater movement of air. You might not notice it. It's not like it's blowing necessarily, but air is moving around. Whereas in the motorhome, maybe the air isn't moving around as much. And like the thing is, if you go cold water, if you do cold water immersion, the trick is not to stay still, because if you stay still, actually the temperature of your body will heat up the sort of the layer of water surrounding your body, so you will be a bit warmer. If you move around, your body's never heating the water up, so you'll feel colder. So whether that's a thing with air in the motorhome, that it's not moving around as much as in a house, I don't know. So that's the thing that I've been getting used to. So I need to see. At the moment, I definitely couldn't be completely in the wild and using the Starlink internet, because that would be draining 6 amps an hour as well. So Arthur and I actually have started talking more regularly about, if we built our own motorhome, we'd do this, and if we built our own motorhome, we'd do that. So I think that's definitely on the cards. Let's give it a year, and if we still want to live this motorhome van life after that, then probably we would look at building something ourselves, because we're sort of a bit fixed with this. Although, to be honest, I do love this motorhome. I love that it's old. I love that it looks nothing. And I love the layout. It's absolutely fantastic. But the heating isn't very good, because you've basically got 2 pipes coming out underneath me, which means forward of this is cold. There's a few things that I would want to change, but anyway, I've got to stop doing that. I've got to stop always thinking of the next thing, and I've got to start perfecting the things that I've already done new, and that will help me to feel less overwhelmed this year. So yeah, I think that's it for this one. Where I park is even more critical in winter, because the sun isn't as powerful. I've got to be conscious that I might need to move the motorhome through the day to catch the best of the sun. Parking north, so my solar panels are facing south, isn't enough. I've got to allow my solar panels to face southeast. Ideally, I've got to be up on a hill, and I'm loving the Wye Valley. And what I think I'll do tomorrow early is I'll go out along the road. I forget what the road number is, but if I go south from where I am, I'll get to Chepstow, and then if I head northeast, I'll go along. I'd call it the coast road, but it's not quite the coast road, because it's the road along the side of the mouth of the River Severn. But that has a stunning sunrise this morning. I was like gobsmacked. This incredible intense orange colour. Unfortunately, I didn't get a shot of it, because I couldn't get a good shot away from the trees. But I might drive up that road knowing that the sunrise is absolutely incredible. See if I can park somewhere so I can get some good sun on the motorhome. Keep the heating off. Luckily, the cafe I went to today, called the Cafe on the Hill at Tuts Hill, I think it was. Anyway, it's the Cafe on the Hill north of Chepstow. They were super lovely, let me plug in. So I basically have got roughly 3 full power packs. So I'm good for electricity for a couple of days ultimately. So if I can lay off the heating, lay off the leisure battery, tomorrow I should be able to get a recharge if I'm in a better position with the motorhome than I was today. So if I'm able to go up about roughly 30% today, I'd like to think I could do the same tomorrow. Fingers crossed there's no cloud like today. There was hardly any cloud. It was a beautiful winter's day. So that's it, ultimately. That's it for this one. What else? Yeah, now that I've sort of had a go at having a shower outside with the Lifesaver jerry can and the shower attachment. now I've had a go at having a shower outside, because I haven't wanted to have a shower inside because it will just end up in water sitting on the floor. It's freezing cold, it won't evaporate, and it will just create damp. But now I'm okay sort of doing it out the shower window. I'm feeling a bit more confident to go and do a bit of cardio when I'm out and about in the motorhome again. Previously, when the weather was warmer, I would do it a lot because I'd go into a river or a waterfall or a lake and have a wash in wild water. But now it's winter and in the lowlands, I don't want to be going anywhere near the rivers because they're disgusting. And unfortunately, it's in the news quite often that water companies dump more sewage than they should do into the rivers, plus there's all runoff from farms and God knows what else. So yeah, I really don't want to be going in lowland rivers through winter. But today, where I'm parked, I went off and did a 25-minute run around the edge of Tinton Quarry, because I did a couple of really good walks around there yesterday. I knew some routes and it's just really perfect. So actually I'm feeling quite at home where I am here. And I'm really looking forward to coming back a lot more. Like, there's a few places I've wanted to stop at, and I've just thought, it doesn't matter, I'll come back another time. I don't need to try and pack it all in. Whereas when I've driven a lot farther away, I felt the need to visit a lot more places in that region because it is quite a trek. Whereas here, it's only an hour from Pershore, so I can come back more often. There's places I'd love to bring Arthur that I think he would really like. And there's places I would like to go back to on my own in the weeks that I'm not with Arthur. So yeah, it's quite nice. And that's the theme for this year, is not rushing around so much. Pick a destination and go there and stay there for a few days. Whilst I love that my life is transient and free, I can't have it being too transient, because otherwise I'm like, oh my God, what's happened? So that's it. Right, so yeah, I'm fully snugly in my blanket that's got like a marsupial pouch on the front, and actually just down here, where my blanket is like hangs off my knee, it's over, like, that didn't turn off, did it? I pressed it once, it didn't turn off. It actually, the hot air blower is blowing into the blanket, so that's amazing. All right, yeah, that's it for this one. The only other thing to say as well is, as I'm travelling around these different areas, I'm using the Wild Guide Central England or the Wild Guide Wales to find wild and outdoor places to go to. But also, it's a really good heads up for village shops and cafes and restaurants and pubs and stuff to go to. So I'm really enjoying starting to tick a few of those off. And it's good actually going into local establishments, shall we call it, because you can ask a few questions about the area, and that will sort of like help define your travels around that region. I have to say, the people here are friendly. Although that said, most people are pretty friendly actually if you spark up a conversation and show an interest. So, right then, that's it for this one, and check back again next time, which hopefully will be tomorrow if I've not frozen to death.